I've built a career out of giving away all my secrets, giving away every piece of advice I have on social media growth, YouTube, Twitch, the whole shebang. But there is one area of advice that I've been afraid to talk about. And honestly, it's the one, I think it's the main reason I've ever found any success. But there's a reason I've been afraid to talk about it. There are a lot of people who give advice, a lot of gurus who share 80 to 90% of their secrets, but they hold on to like that last little bit because they feel like it gives them an edge. They want to know things that other people don't know. I don't subscribe to that idea at all. I've found that the more I share, the more I grow. And so I've never felt any reason to hide things, really, except for this. And there's a reason for it. I feel a strong sense of responsibility for anything that I share. And I think there's a problem on the internet with influencers or content creators not taking responsibility for their actions. You get people who, have millions of subscribers and they post a video and they say, if you buy this shirt, you're a maverick. Or, hey, check out this really cool gambling website to a ton of 13-year-olds. And then they convince themselves that it doesn't matter because they're not forcing anybody to do this. They make the content, and if anyone decides to follow suit, that's their choice. And I think that's very wrong. I think the entire title of this career path is called being an influencer because you have influence. Your value as a content creator is completely determined by how much influence you have. And the people, they're just, it's not everyone. I wouldn't even say it's most people, but there are a very loud group of people who don't take any responsibility for their influence. And I think it's a serious problem. And I'm not okay with doing that. And so when it comes to this thing, which I'll get into here, I haven't talked about it because I'm afraid of people taking it the wrong way, or people doing it wrong, or people taking the leap and hurting themselves. And if someone did, I would feel very responsible for it. So here it goes. There are two main motivators in terms of entrepreneurship or just success in general. The first one is inspiration, which I think is very important. I have a lot of big inspirational figures in my life. My dad being a big one of them. Or I see people who are doing what I want to do, and I mimic what they do. I use that as a driving force behind it. I know I can do that. I can do it better than them. But when it's 4 a.m, or maybe you work a 9-to-5 job and you get home and you're exhausted, it's very easy. Inspiration is fleeting. It's very easy to say, I'll just do it tomorrow. It's not my job. It doesn't matter. I'm getting paid for my job. I don't need to do it right now. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm exhausted. The other bigger motivator is fear. And I think fear has been one of the biggest motivators in my career. Just to take you back a little bit, when I first started my career on social media 5 years ago, for those of you who don't know what my start was before gaming, I was doing music with my wife. We're making music videos. It wasn't a job. We didn't make any money off of it, but we decided one day we were going to make this work, and we dropped out of school and we quit our jobs. And we cashed out. We had some savings from luckily very responsible parents, enough money to live for about 6 months. Not live wealthily, but we could survive for about 6 months. And we went to work. And in the beginning, we were kind of lazy about it. There were a lot of days where we just sat around and watched Doctor Who. And when we had about a month and a half left, we just kind of realized, like, oh my gosh, we're almost done. If this doesn't happen, we're going to have to take out student loans. We're going to have to go back to school. We're going to have to get jobs, and who knows what we're going to do. But this option is done if we don't make this happen. And that fear of losing that chance pushed me to work hard. It pushed me to stop sleeping. Not entirely, but a lot. Cut back a lot of my sleep and spend that time working and just work all day, every day. And eventually I pulled something together that turned into a viral video, got over 100 million views. Within a month, we had over 1 million followers. And that was the start of our career. And I would have never done that had the fear of failure not been instilled in me. And then again, four-ish years later, as I was trying to gain way in the gaming sphere. Our relevancy on music had slowed down. YouTube had kind of squandered the music industry on their platform, and we were kind of starting from scratch. I'd picked up some freelance jobs, and I had gotten a job offer out of state. We would have had to move states doing social media for like a big startup company. And I knew that if I took this job, I would be done. I wouldn't be able to do this anymore. It would be the end of my career on social media, content creation, being creative for a living would be over for me. And I remember telling Kenzie, this was about mid-November, and I told her, I said, hey, if I don't make this happen by the end of the holiday season, I'm done. I'm taking the job. And I put my head down and I stopped sleeping, and I made 2 videos a week, and with every single video I would say, is this thumbnail clickable? I'd make 5 thumbnails. Is this title attractive enough to get 100,000 views? Is the content inside the video itself good enough to where someone is going to click the subscribe button? Is every single video worthy of starting a career? And I never would have done that if I didn't have that fear of being done. And so now I'm sure you can understand why I've been afraid to talk about this, because if I share this nonchalantly, I say, hey, if you want to do this, you need to go all in. You need to quit your job. You need to make this a priority. There are going to be people who quit their jobs, who have kids or have a spouse who needs them, or family members they're taking care of, and they're not going to make it, because there are different kinds of people out there. There are people who thrive under fear, like myself. And then there are people who are paralyzed by fear. And a lot of times you don't know which one you are until you try. And the idea that my advice might really ruin someone's life is terrifying to me. Different kind of fear. Not a motivating fear, but more of a be careful kind of fear. And the last thing I would ever want to do is give advice to someone who uses it and it hurts them. And so, but I also feel responsible to share it with you, because this is what I do. I've shared every one of my secrets, and this was my biggest secret. This was the thing that made it work both times. I've started 2 social media careers from scratch. Both of them happened because my fear of failure. And I felt like if I didn't share this, I would be holding back something very valuable from you. And so I wanted to do this carefully and sincerely, and ask you to take a look around you and recognize who relies on you. What would making a serious jump or doing anything, I'm not specifically talking about quitting your job, but anything to instill that fear of failure in you. If you do that, is that going to hurt someone else around you? I would have taken that job in Nevada because my top priority was taking care of my family, my current family, my wife, and my future family whenever we decide to have kids. And I wasn't willing to not take this job if I didn't have a better alternative. So please be responsible, recognize who relies on you. And if you really, really want to make this work, you might need a little bit more fear in your life.